Cancer.
Hello Cancer, this is your February forecast for 2015, and this month is going to be somewhat calmer than normal. We have beautiful harmonious aspects for the most part, and I think it's going to give a lot of you just a little break from all the processing that you have been doing, and especially then also emotionally. We have Venus and Mars in your sister sign of Pisces here this month, Cancer, and that's going to allow you to immerse into your emotional self and express yourself more creatively, and there might also be some spiritual clarity and understanding as these planets here now are beaming golden rays to your sun. Pisces is very creative, it is also very spiritual, and this is that part of yourself now coming alive, and you'll get a little touch and a little feel how it is to be Piscean as long as these planets here are now passing through. And what they also want to stimulate, since they're in your 9th house, is the way you think about life in the overall, the higher perspective of how your life all ties together on your path. They will both here also have their connection with Neptune, especially here on the first one. Venus is conjunct, meaning they share the very same degree on the sky, and that will bring that higher octave of love into being, more the idealistic side of love. We have human love, and then we got the cosmic love. And these two together, they can open up channels for that cosmic love. Now, for those of you who are artistic, this is the day, February 1st, to pay attention to those inner bubbles that want to come up and out and express themselves in that way. And for others, well, you might just feel inclined to start taking a new class, or maybe for those of you who teach, to bring up some subject that has to do with higher thinking. It is the area of education. It's also the area of travel. In that case, it's more the long distance places that may draw you rather than the short distance. That's more the 3rd house. So you might dream up a big dream of where you want to have your vacation this year if you're not going to be traveling already now. Then we have the full moon here, February 3rd. This is going to be in your 2nd house of money and income. So you might feel how this area is going to illuminate for you. And I'm really excited about this full moon, because not only do they bring things to the forefront, however, this full moon is also receiving a beautiful golden ray from Uranus. So it could bring some unexpected monies. And in that case for you, since Uranus is in your 10th house, well, then we pretty much might consider it's coming from your career, from your job site. So maybe news about a promotion or a raise. And of course, that can't go to all of you out there. This is your general scope. It depends also how this is going to be affecting you in your natal chart. However, Uranus can bring things big, unexpected, and I say big because this full moon is also within those first few hours is going to touch upon Jupiter, and that is always big. Now, you've been having Jupiter here ever since that of late last summer, so some of you have already seen how it's starting to bring things together for you. Others are still waiting, those of you who are born a little bit later in the sign. But here, since all of you have it in your 2nd house, well, you know, it could bring good news to quite a few of you. The new moon is February 18th, and this month it's going to be in your 8th house, at the very last degree of that 8th house, 29 degrees. This has to do with your shared resources, money that you have with your partner or your significant other. It might also be resources that you may have with an agent, a broker, a banker, investments, that kind of thing. And you're capturing it in this last degree before it leaves this area. So it's giving you a chance to put down your intentions that you're wanting to secure your financial security. Now for Cancers, most you are good about that as a golden rule, as is, but it could also just behoove you to actually look at your assets, look at how they could grow, or some of them just sitting, you know, with no interest in a bank. Would it behoove you to invest it? That kind of thing. So look it over and see what maybe that can do for you. Jupiter is still retrograde until February 9th, 8th. And so when I say 2 dates, it's always because some of you are in the far east, okay, you're a day ahead of us, and then the rest of us, we come a little bit later. Yeah, that will start picking up speed springtime. But for right now, 18 degrees, it is doing well where it is situated. You might come to feel here on February 2nd. On the 1st, we had that romantic aspect, the Venus and Neptune conjunct. On the 2nd, we have the Sun and Uranus in sextile, meaning that's a harmonious aspect as well. So that's going to be between this 8th house and career again. So I'm feeling there's going to be some talks about money. Or maybe some new benefits that can arise perhaps as well, because it's not really your day-to-day, or should I say month-to-month income, which is that 2nd house. Now we know Jupiter is doing its thing there, but this is the 8th house, so it could be maybe something coming into being where you could look at how you can benefit from doing commission sales, for example. Now, on the 5th, Mercury and Saturn is going to have a good talk, and it has to do with your structure, your baseline. Saturn will always want to try to get you into this shape and form of security. So this is good when it's got that great aspect to Mercury. However, Mercury is retrograde here until the 11th or 12th, depending on where you live. So even though it's a great aspect, you don't really want to sign if you don't absolutely have to, because there's still things there that are lagging. You could sign anything of what you're talking about here on the 5th later on the 19th, because then Mercury's turning direct, it's picking up speed, it's going to come back around to that very same degree that it was on February 5th, and that would be a better time. So if you can delay it until then, I think you're going to do really, really well. Not only that, but also on that 19th, we got some rocket boosters here as Mars is changing signs from Pisces in your 9th house to the 10th house. So Mars is coming into Aries upon the sign which it rules. So it's like a double whammy energy booster there. And on the 20th, Venus is going to join Mars also in this area. So you can see how your career field will light up there on these 2 days and for the rest of the month in this area. And so, yeah, any kind of communication or signatures that are required, great time for do it then. But let's backtrack a little bit. There might be a decision there February 6th, whether to go with this or that. And we have that from time to time. And if you don't have to make a decision, I would say just wait a little bit, because whenever we're in doubt, there's always a reason. Your doubt is just telling you that all necessary information is still not yet present. So doubt is your friend. And already, 2 days later, Venus and Pluto are going to come together, and it's going to give you some insight upon matters of security. So whatever you were doubting on the 6th, you're going to feel more so at 1 and confident. So that would be a good time to make a choice. On the 8th, it's also a romantic time. We see a lot of intensity taking place when Pluto comes in with its scorpionic force to Venus, and so it's a very intimate energy. And it's also a great time for you to start, even though Mercury is still retrograde, but to start some creative idea processing, especially within the creative fields and the arts and so forth, because you can feel very inspired by this and also feel this charge of energy. So as long as you're not launching anything, you could still start projects and feel your way while the energy is high and moving. So on the 19th and 20th, when both Venus and Mars are moving into Aries, that's your 10th house for career. This is going to highlight this whole area for the rest of this month. That you will see will bring opportunities perhaps too. For those of you waiting for something new, this could be a good time when they cross upon Uranus, which won't be before their early March, but at least it's starting to power up this area. And on February 22nd, Venus and Mars are conjunct. So if you have clear skies, go out and look, and it should be a beautiful sight. This is now, for you, maybe both the initiation of something new, but it could also challenge some of you because it is squaring your sign. So you might come to see that whatever is being initiated, it might be a talk that's important to you that you need to process through. For others, it could just be a meeting with a new person, for those of you who are single, and you will feel this chemistry because there is this jolt of energy there involved. On the 23rd, I feel that you might be second guessing or trying to adjust whatever took place there on the 22nd. This is because the Sun now is going to square upon Saturn, and Saturn might be that little voice saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Right? And so, but it's a fleeting aspect, all right? But you might just wonder what really did take place there on the 22nd. But already 24th, you have first Venus coming in, trining that very Saturn. On the 26th, Mars also is going to be trining upon that Saturn that doubted, or where you second questioned yourself. So you will see that, yes, if your intuition was good and you were feeling that you were speaking your heart, if you were having the talk, right, that you brought out that higher truth that was really important to you. Remember, both Mars and Venus has been in that 9th house lingering, asking yourself, your higher self, what your truth, higher concepts of you needing to figure out what decisions you wanted to take, what felt right for you in your heart, because they were in your sister sign, they were energizing you, it was seeking those higher answers. And now that they're coming in to the work area, which isn't always our physical day-to-day job, work, career, it's what we work with in our higher self. The midheaven, or the 10th house, is how we perceive ourselves, whereas the rising sign is how others perceive us. But we perceive ourselves through that 10th house. So if you're feeling you're having to have that talk on the 22nd, you're speaking that higher truth or the conclusion that you felt that you had arrived to. So the 24th and 26th, they will pretty much give you some feedback one way or another, where you know that you're still standing your grounds and feeling pretty good about it. Saturn will make sure that the new directions that you are taking now, ever since it moved into Sagittarius in December, is now helping you organize and structure your day-to-day experience and the flow of it. For those of you that has felt that things have been stuck, you know, in a rut for a long time, well, Saturn is helping you streamline and figure out what needs to be pruned in your life, which in nature we need to prune for things to have beautiful growth, and so we need to in our own personal lives as well. The very last day of the month, February 26th, not of the month, but the last transit of the month, is the Sun conjuncting with Neptune. Now, on the first day of February, we had Venus in this area, and it kind of started a little flame. It started something creative and emotional for you. And now the Sun you gets to revisit that very degree of Neptune, and you will be able to kind of probably flush it more out. Whatever thoughts or idea that you arrive to will be able to be worked with under this very strong inspiration that you will be receiving. So listen to your partner's chart and see what is going on with him or her. And by all means, also your moon and your rising chart, as we always add here at the end of our videos. And I'll see you next month, Cancer. Bye now.